At 3 in the morning, the room is still, the blanket barely moving with your breath, and your cat appears from the foot of the bed as if it has been awake the whole time. One small paw presses into fabric, then another, slow and careful, until its weight settles on your chest and pulls you from sleep. For a second, you do not know whether to laugh, push it away, or wonder why those eyes are watching you so closely. Most owners explain it quickly. Maybe the cat is hungry. Maybe it wants attention. Maybe it is trying to ruin your sleep. Or maybe it has simply found the warmest place in the room. But this nighttime habit is rarely that simple. When the house becomes quiet, your cat begins reading the world in ways you barely notice, through warmth, movement, scent, stillness, and tiny changes around you. Each step across your body may carry a different meaning, a survival check, a silent scent mark, a reaction to something in the dark, a search for warmth, a learned way to wake you, or something far more emotional, rooted in its earliest memories. To understand why this happens, you have to see the moment through the instincts of an animal that remains alert, even in the safest place it knows. That alertness is the first clue to what your cat may be doing when it chooses your body instead of an empty part of the bed. Cats rarely step on random places. They often move toward your chest, your neck, your shoulder, or even close to your face, because those areas give off the clearest signs that you are still present. Your chest rises and falls. Your skin holds warmth. Your breath creates tiny changes in the air. Even the smallest movement of your body can tell a watchful animal that the familiar person beside it has not disappeared into stillness. For humans, sleep is ordinary. You understand that a quiet body is simply resting. But from a cat's instinctive point of view, the change is more noticeable. During the day, you speak, walk, reach, feed, react, and constantly send signals. At night, all of that stops. You become silent, still, and far less responsive than usual. So, on some instinctive level, your cat may be checking the signs it knows best: breath, body heat, and the faint rhythm of movement under its paws. This is also why the behavior often appears after the lights are out. Darkness removes many of the visual cues your cat uses during the day, so it relies more on touch, smell, warmth, and the pattern of your breathing. What feels to you like an annoying midnight interruption may feel to your cat like a simple confirmation that everything in its small world is still okay. To you, it is sleep. To your cat, it may be a familiar body that has suddenly become quieter than normal. But this survival check is only the first layer, because when your cat walks across you, it may also be leaving behind something human eyes can never see. And that invisible layer begins with scent. Humans usually understand a room through what they can see, but a cat reads the same space through smells, traces, and familiar marks left behind on every surface. To your cat, the house is not just furniture, walls, blankets, and doors. It is a living map of comfort, territory, and safety, and you are one of the most important points on that map. When your cat walks across your blanket, your pajamas, your skin, or the place where your body has been resting, it may be adding its own scent back into the space. Some of that scent can come from tiny points of contact, from its paws, its fur, and the way its body brushes against you. Each small step can act like an invisible signature. You cannot see it, but to your cat it may say something very clear. This place is familiar, this person is safe, and this body belongs inside my trusted world. This is not only about ownership, it is also about restoring order. During the day, you leave the house, touch other objects, meet other people, pass through different places, and carry back unfamiliar smells from outside. Soap, food, fabric, streets, work, and even other animals can change the scent your cat expects from you. By night, you may still look the same, but to your cat, you might smell slightly different from the person it curled up beside before. So when it steps over you again, especially in a home with other cats or dogs, it may be rebuilding that familiar connection, quietly reminding itself that its safest place is still here. It is not simply crossing your body. It may be rewriting its scent onto one of the most important parts of its territory, you. That familiar connection becomes even more important when something in the room changes before you notice it. Imagine you are asleep and your cat rises on your chest, its ears angled forward, its body still, its attention fixed toward the door. To you, nothing has happened. The room feels quiet. The hallway looks empty. and there is no obvious reason for your cat to react. But the question is not whether you heard something. The question is what your cat heard first. Night is rarely silent to a cat. Small changes can move through a house long before they reach human awareness. A pipe shifting inside the wall, air moving near a window, an insect crossing a corner, an animal outside, a refrigerator or air conditioner changing rhythm, a distant footstep, or an object settling in another room. Any one of these tiny signals may be enough to pull your cat into alertness because its world is built from details that humans often filter out. When a cat notices something unfamiliar, it may not immediately hide or panic. Sometimes it chooses a place that feels higher, safer, warmer, and more familiar, where it can pause and assess what is happening. At night, that place may be you. Your body is not just a surface to stand on. It is a known point in the room, carrying your warmth, your scent, and the reassurance of something stable. So your cat is not necessarily acting like a guard or protecting you in a dramatic way. It may simply be responding to a signal you missed, using you as a trusted place from which to understand the dark. But not every midnight step begins with a sound. Sometimes the reason is much simpler. Your body may be the warmest place in the room. Sometimes the reason your cat climbs onto you is not mysterious at all, but it is still deeply connected to comfort and trust. Cats do not always choose the empty side of the bed, the pillow beside you, or the blanket near your feet. They often choose your chest, your stomach, your lap, the space near your neck, or the warm area tucked close to your body under the covers, because warmth matters more to them than many owners realize. A cat's body naturally runs warmer than a human's, and at night, the room slowly becomes less inviting. The floor cools down, sunlight disappears, and even soft furniture may lose the heat it held during the day. Your body, however, keeps producing steady warmth. To your cat, you can become the most reliable heater in the room, not just warm, but familiar, breathing, and safe. This is why your cat may not settle immediately. It might step across your legs, pause on your stomach, move toward your chest, turn around once or twice, and only then curl into place. What looks like aimless wandering may actually be your cat mapping comfort with its paws, body, and instinct, searching for the spot where heat feels strongest and safety feels closest. You may notice this more in colder months, in air-conditioned rooms, or with older cats and short-haired cats that seek warmth more often. But if warmth were the only reason, your cat would simply lie down and stay still. So why are there nights when it keeps walking, touches your face, nudges your hand, or seems determined to wake you? But not every nighttime visit carries a deep emotional meaning. Sometimes your cat walks over you because it wants a specific response. It climbs onto your chest, refuses to settle, crosses near your face, brushes your hand with one paw, or looks toward the bedroom door as if waiting for you to understand. In that moment, your cat may not be searching for comfort. It may be trying to make something happen. The first reason is often food. Cats learn daily routines with precision, especially when meals happen consistently. If breakfast usually comes at 6, your cat may begin the process at 5:30 or earlier because its body has learned that morning is close. This does not always mean the cat is badly behaved. It may simply be following a pattern built from repetition, hunger, expectation, and past experience. The second reason is unused energy. If your cat spent most of the day sleeping, had little play, lacked stimulation, or never had a chance to chase, climb, stalk, and pounce safely, that energy may return near dawn. While you are trying to rest, your cat may be entering a more active part of its natural rhythm, and the easiest creature in the house to involve is you. The third reason is something owners often create without realizing it. If every early morning visit ends with food, attention, play, an open door, or even a sleepy conversation, your cat learns that the behavior works. To a cat, the result matters more than your intention. If stepping on your face leads to a filled bowl, it will remember. That is why a calmer routine can help. More play before bed, steady feeding times, a warm resting spot nearby, and fewer rewards for waking you too early. But if hunger, boredom, and habit were the whole story, this behavior would not feel so very personal. There is a softer reason beneath it, and it begins in the first days of a cat's life. But beneath hunger, warmth, and habit, there is one reason that feels different from all the others. It appears when your cat stops moving, settles on your stomach or chest, and begins pressing its front paws slowly into the blanket, your shirt, or the soft space beneath it. The movement is gentle, almost like a memory repeating itself through the body. Many cat owners call this making biscuits, but the behavior began long before your cat ever slept beside you. When kittens are young, they press their paws against their mother's belly to help stimulate milk flow. In those first days of life, that motion is connected to everything that keeps them alive: warmth, food, scent, heartbeat, breathing, and the feeling of being protected. For many cats, that pattern does not disappear with age. It remains stored in the body as a sign of comfort, safety, and deep relaxation. So when an adult cat climbs onto you at night and starts kneading, it may be entering one of its most secure emotional states. Your body offers several things that echo those early experiences: steady warmth, a familiar smell, the rise and fall of breathing, the rhythm of a heartbeat, and the softness of fabric, skin, or blankets beneath its paws. This does not mean your cat literally thinks you are its mother in the human sense. It means your presence may bring back an old feeling, the feeling of being close to a safe source of warmth, where the world once felt simple and protected. And now the whole behavior begins to connect. At first, your cat may step on you because your stillness in the dark makes it check for signs of life. It may walk across you to refresh your scent, climb onto you when something unfamiliar catches its attention, choose you when the room feels cold, or wake you when it expects food or attention. But when it needs, relaxes, and stays, the act becomes more than a habit. It becomes a sign of relationship. The thing that wakes you at 3 in the morning may not only be an interruption. It may be the moment a small animal chooses you as the safest place it knows. So the next time your cat walks across you in the dark, try not to see it as only a strange habit. It may be checking your breath, renewing your familiar scent, reacting to something you missed, searching for warmth, repeating a learned morning routine, or reaching for the safest feeling it remembers. You may still feel tired when a small paw presses against your chest before sunrise, but to your cat, you may be warmth, familiarity, height, comfort, and trust gathered into one living place. In its quiet world, you may be the place it returns to.